Hey everyone. We've had a pretty exciting week last week. Lots of racing at the Tour de France, and we're just here to chat about it, chat about some of the stages. We've had some flat sprinting stages, some mountain stages, and an exciting time trial. And we're just here to chat about where everyone's at. As it stands today on the rest day, Tade the Pierogi has the yellow jersey. Remco Evenepoel has the white jersey. Jonas Abrahamsson has the polka dot jersey, and Biniam Germay has the green jersey. And as far as the GC picture, there's been a couple offs back and forth after the first stage with his teammate Romain Bardet took the yellow jersey, but then quickly after that, the Uruguayan Carapaz took the yellow jersey from him. But then after that, it was Tade all the way. He took back that jersey and has just been carrying it ever since. And he is looking strong. Him in combination with his team, they've just been riding so they've just been so strong, going in that breakaway, just working as a team and just really setting up Poggi just perfectly every time to take a few stage wins.
When we were talking pre Tour de France start, the whole story was like, is it just going to be a dominant fest from Tadej Pogacar again? And it honestly seems like Poggi is untouchable right now. Sure, he lost a few seconds to Evenepoel in the time trial, which was a wicked event seeing the big three battle there, which Evenepoel did surprise me because I haven't really seen him race too much at the top tier. So I'm not surprised now I've seen him that he's in that white jersey. But just the fact that Pogacar was able to hang on to the TT and has just dominated the GC fight so far. He's always been the aggressor, it seems. It was pretty cool seeing him smash some gravel and trying to pull away, even though Visma Lease bike was really having to support Vingegaard through the most recent stage. It was really thrilling to see that, but it really just seems like the Tadej Pogacar show.
Yeah, definitely. He's been just super dominant. Right from his first stage win, blasting away from the group. And at that moment, I was kind of worried for Jonas with the news of Sepkus getting COVID, not being in the tour, the Van Aert's injury. His team is just a little bit weaker than it has been in the past. And plus, obviously, his ginormous injury. So his training has kind of gotten derailed. But after that, Tade's first win, Jonas was actually able to keep up with him. So I was kind of like, oh wow, he's able to stay on his wheel. So it seems pretty good for Jonas at this point, and he's just a minute and 15 back, which based on interviews, it seems like he's decently happy with that. So I think we'll see if the one thing about Jonas in past Tour de France, I find his recovery is his big thing. Is he loves the ramp up. He loves being nice and consistent, playing that team game, not doing anything too flashy. And then in that last week is when Jonas really starts to shine. So that's really what I'm looking forward to going forward is will that him playing a bit conservative on some of these stages come back and he can kind of pull ahead on a few of the next mountain stages.
And really, just like a minute and a bit back is not that big of a deal if you're going to stay consistent. And then the real test of endurance is going to be, hey, that final week or those final days is like, hey, can you still push above the rest of them? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think this is the whole story of what we have to look forward to in the general classification fight is Evenepoel and Tade, whether or not they can see a huge separation between the two of them, and Vingegaard's just going to stay within striking distance of Poggi. And like you say, Andrew, he seems really comfortable to have lost a minute and a half or so in this first group of stages. But I think we're going to see the whole thing blow up in that third week where Vingegaard always just seems to have that kick through the hilly sections before the tour ends. Those last few difficult stages is where he's not just fighting for seconds, but he's really trying to take minutes for that GC fight. So that'll be interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all boils out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, speaking of the battle between Venepool, Poggi, and Jonas in the most recent stage, the gravel stage, which was a pretty cool and unique stage for the Tour de France. I feel like there's already so many variables in these 3-week tour stages to throw gravel at it is just kind of the amount of punctures, slip outs, just potential for accidents is just kind of chaos. But there definitely was some beef that came out of that stage that where Jonas was criticized a little bit for not wanting to race, and that Evenepoel was basically like, we could have taken this stage and just ran with it. Pretty much decided the top three right there. Where Jonas was happy to just stick there, stick at the back. He knows he's strong enough, but he definitely is getting some flack for that decision.
What do you think about that, Ty? Like when you're riding in a group and somebody's just sitting on your coattails, that's got to be frustrating. But at a Grand Tour, when there's so many strategy games at play,
That's the thing. It's all about the strat. Like he's playing the game. That's all it is, and he's a smart guy. Like he did get some flack. Like, hey, he's not taking a pull. He's not doing this. But at the end of the day, he's just trying to be smart. Like he's sitting on the wheel. He's allowed to do it. So why not try to optimize what you can? And I guess playing that long game, right? So I'm all in for it. I love it.
yeah. And so that I think does it for the GC. Really, I think the stories still to come. But really, it's the Poggi show, and we'll see if the other two can really pull some minutes on him, or if he'll just keep stomping away with that lead. But what I think has been most exciting so far has been the fight for the green jersey. There's been some awesome sprint finishes with a few great stories. I think the top, I think there's two big stories. One being Mark Cavendish has broken the record for the most stage wins, and I believe it's at 35 stage wins that he now has in the Tour de France, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Last year we saw him try to do it and then got in a crash and didn't get it. So it was really cool to see him. He not on the first sprint stage, but got it on the second. And just lets, at 39 years old, competing against the best and sprinting against all of the world's best sprinters to get that record from Eddie Merckx is just, it's insane. Yeah,
Sidebar that
craziness.
has to do with Cavendish. Did you guys see? I don't know if I sent you guys that post before this, where the sheer torque on his chain
Oh yeah,
after
that
his sprint.
it whipped off after he stopped
How
pedaling.
crazy!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought it snapped, but it like they slow mode it. It just comes off of the ring because there was so much torque on his
Oh yeah.
chain, like nuts.
That is crazy. I didn't see that, but I can just imagine. Like
Like
these guys are on the best equipment in the world, and they are so strong and powerful that they're tearing at these bikes, and it looks like
imagine
they're
the
blowing
watt.
up at the seams.
Yeah, imagine the watt coming out of that guy, like nuts.
So the second big story, another place where history has been made, is Biniam Girmay. So he is the first black African rider to win a stage in the Tour de France. And not only has he won one, he's actually won two stages now
What a
before the
freak!
first rest day. And he's now wearing that beautiful green jersey. Very well deserved. Watching some of the slow mo of the tactics as they're coming up to the line, like, not only does he have a good kick, but he's also got great race instinct to just put himself in the right place, the right time. It's not just by happen chance that he's now got two wins already in this tour. So that's been really, really cool to see.
Even for you guys, I don't know if it's just me, but like those replays I watch like 3 4 times because I'm always looking at like a different guy, and then like I'll finally like look back at who won and like the tactics of he's way in the back, like he's like whoever's the guy that wins is like 15th man coming out, and then he comes through the bushes and just makes it through on the massive sprint. Like it's such a tactic that like they just play perfectly on the day. Like it's nuts.
What I think is crazy is it looks like an art. It's
Yeah.
almost like water flowing through the course. But if you were in the pack that's all fighting to get to that line first, just the sheer intensity, it would be like running with horses. Like I can only imagine the amount of pressure, the amount of stress that your body is going through during those final few minutes of a sprint stage. It would just be so exhilarating, but at the same time so scary.
And imagine the sound, just every the and thousands of dollars of bike just vroom, just coming through at you. It would be music to my ears, let me tell you.
What I find scary is like, I mean, obviously during the sprint is very scary, but as soon as you get past the finish line, and then it's like just this flow. I mean, you're stopping pedaling, but it's like, then it's like way more chaos because people are like, I'm done. And it's like, I don't know. And I feel like slowing down from that, not crashing, the people that raise their hands off their bars, like that's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, and you're not just dodging the riders that are all slowing up, but you've also got like reporters and teams like support crews coming up, and yeah, like seeing some of the congratulatory like finishes where they're tapping each other on the back, and then it just seems like there's a horde of people that are getting in these cyclists' way. It's a wonder there aren't more incidences after the race finishes because they're
I
all
never
like
thought of that.
basically blackout and have just been traveling 60-65 kilometers an hour in their sprint. Crazy.
I'd just fall over. I'd be like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, the big question I have at this point, speaking of sprinting, is we've had four sprinting stages at this point, and zero wins for Jasper Philipsen. In one of the stages, he ended up getting relegated for going into Van Aert's line. I mean, and he did that just to get second. Wasn't even from the win, but still nothing from Jasper after getting that green jersey last year. So it has been a bit of a slow start for him.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there was like he was the dominator of the last year's tour to the point where like it seemed like nobody else was winning any stages. It was the Asper every day, all day. But that's really turned on its head. It's good to see that there is some changes in who's winning all those sprints. But it'll also be exciting to see if Jasper Philipsen can grab a stage win. And also, I'd be interested to see if Wout van Aert bouncing back from injury has what it takes, or if he's just going to be super domestique in that third week to my boy Jonas. So, TBD, we will see.
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to
Question
take Kuss's place.
question about the relegation. Does that mean like Dunzo or just like he has a penalty for a certain amount of time, let's say? Like I don't know what I'm not I don't know.
Just for the stage, he just gets bumped way back in the rankings for that stage,
Oh,
not for
okay.
the whole tour.
So he gets a time
That'd be
penalty, I
crazy.
guess?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's really all the same time though, because they're coming in as the
Big group.
Peloton
Yeah.
squad, but just basically bumped right to the back. Tyler, what from the tour so far? What you've been watching? What have been some exciting moments? What have been any craziness that you've been seeing so far?
All right, so I've been away for the past week, but I've been looking at highlights and some a couple things jumped out at me. So I have been just looking at the usual back and forth between Poggi and Jonas and the fun stuff going on up at the front. But I also saw the what was it, disqualification or fine from this French man for kissing his wife. He is a freak. That I say, kiss your wife, kiss your kids, kiss your wife. It's a must. And
Yeah.
right near the finish line, like you got to do it. I've
So I have a
seen,
question for you, Tyler.
yeah.
If after your first Ironman, you were there with Juicy J and you kissed Juicy J, but the consequence was as you crossed the finish line, they didn't tell you you were an Iron Man. Or they said you are not an Iron Man. Which would you pick?
I do it. I do it.
Nice.
I do it in protest and fight the consequences later.
So, on that point of like exciting things, I think the most recent stage, which was the gravel stage, adds so much chaos and variation to the race and to the GC contenders. And I think it's interesting to hear their opinions on it, which is basically they are anti gravel stage because they are of the mindset that already a 3 week tour has so much that you can't control that adding gravel stages, cobble stages is unnecessary risk to these riders, to their equipment, and to the GC fight when there's so much at stake that they really seem to voice their disapproval of allowing such a stage to happen in the Tour de France. So it'll be interesting to see because, of course, the fans love it. It's one of the most watched stages because it is so chaotic. But when you have somebody like Jonas, who's in the fight for the GC, who has to ride his teammate's bike for 100 kilometers because his bike just suffers a mechanical and he will be out of the fight entirely if they didn't properly set up the team strategy that way where they had that option, it does raise the question of, is it appropriate to have a gravel stage in the Tour de France?
Do they have a different bike or change the tires or something?
They definitely changed the tires. They were all on wider tires. I would think most of the times they'd be on like 28s on road stages and climbs, but something like the gravel, they may be rolling on 35s or something. So it's definitely a thicker tire that's not just meant for the road, but more of that gravel type of
But yeah,
ride.
that is risque. That is very risque. But like you said, the fans love it, so I think it's there to stay because it's for entertainment at the end of the day. Obviously, it's not optimal for the competitors in that stage, but it's pretty fun to see.
Yeah. Another thing that is interesting is I'm seeing, so we're Canadian, of course, and the Canadian hero from last year, Mike Woods, is not participating in this Tour de France. I see him posting to Strava with rides up in the Gatineau Hills. So I'm like, what the heck? Where is he? But then yesterday, Derek G, another Canadian rider, takes third in the stage, which I thought was really exciting.
From
Just
Ottawa.
to see the Maple Leaf up on the podium again, 2 years running. Not a stage win, but who knows? He's really strong, and that might come.
It's
What about
exciting.
you, Andrew?
Outside of the racing, one thing that I've really been enjoying looking at is all of the very, very nice bikes at the tour. I mean, as we've discussed, not a bike expert, and I'm just going to assume that all of these bikes are peak performance, all basically equal, just as far as opinions on different different parts and whatnot. But I've really been liking, and I've
This
always
one,
liked EF
question for you.
education.
Question for you, Andrew. Kiss one, marry one, kill one.
Kiss one? Okay, I think my favorite, most exciting, and I've always loved their kit is EF Education. They're riding the Cannondale Super 6, and I just find the bright pink kit, the Cannondale with the yellow, the orange, the cool designs, the pink. It's just a fun bike, easy to spot in the peloton. I've always loved their kit. So that is my kiss, just exciting, easy to marry. I actually am really liking the Soudal Quickstep Specialized S Works Tarmac SL. It's kind of like a galaxy blue, purple, and black, and I just find it nice, sleek. Yeah, all around it's just a very, very nice bike. Kill. Trying to think of one that I don't like. Like I really have strong opinions about. Maybe one of you guys give me one of your preferred, and I'll think about the kill.
So there's one bike that was recently launched through a new partnership. I think it's Bora Hansgrove. So the team that Primoz Roglic is on, who was supposed to be a GC contender, but he kind of seems to have fallen out of the top running. But they recently announced a partnership with Red Bull, and they have this nice white S Works bike, pretty similar in terms of what bike it is. It's probably the Tarmac SL8, like your favorite pick from Soudal Quickstep, but theirs is nice and white. It's got that Red Bull logo, it's got the S Works, it's a beautiful bike, and it reminds me, if you follow Formula One, when Red Bull races in Japan or was racing in Japan, they did this special livery which was white for Honda, and it was a beautiful design. It reminds me exactly of that, and it looks beautiful on the bike. And I think a lot of teams are going more and more with the colors, and to have a nice, clean white bike with a few nice highlights is really, really beautiful and clean.
Okay, I have my kill. It's not a bike because I think all the bikes are very nice for the most part. Not none that I'm like I hate this, but the one thing, and I saw bikes switch their color this year because they didn't want to clash with the maillot jaune. But there's just too much navy blue in the peloton, and this is one of the reasons why I love EF Education. Easy to spot. I can kind of see where the group is. I can see them move as a group. There's just too much navy blue, and as I'm watching, start losing teams. Those navy blue teams, they start merging together for me sometimes. So that's what I want to kill. I want more variance in colors.
I totally second that. I 100% agree. I think part of what makes the team and the team aspect of the tour so great is seeing those trains approaching finishes and that sort of thing. And for the viewers, it's just nice when you can differentiate between each team.
You know me, I'm all for color, so pump up the color, baby. Hawaiian jerseys, I'd be in. Bring back Hawaiian.
Quick hot take. The one thing that I've been seeing a lot in the tour bikes this year, and maybe previous years as well, but there's a heck of a lot of tan walled tires. And I think black tires are nicer. I know the tan wall is all the rage, but I think black wall just looks faster. I feel
It's
like the
hipster.
tan wall, they're for the gravel mans, which I know they did at gravel stage. It's, but the black wall, I think, is speed. And the tour is
Speed.
about speed.
It's true. Tan walls is
But
more hipster though. It's like, you just want to have a craft beer on
yeah,
the bike.
yeah, but we're here for speed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I may have to disagree with you on this. I think with the beautiful carbon wheels that are coming out with the fat lettering, that little split to tan wall and then back to the black rubber is pretty appealing to me, even to the point where I've considered throwing it on my bike. So I don't know, one of these days you might be riding with me and some tan walled boys and you can start chirping.
Frig. Friggin' hipsters. Just riding with a bunch of hipsters. I don't know.
I'm in the process of buying some GP5000s tan walled right now for the BIM ride.
Okay, so I'm not going to ride with either of you guys ever again. Got it. All right, so Tyler, going into the second week, any stages, or do you think we'll stay the course with the top three, or do you think there'll be any big upsets in this next week?
I'm interested in seeing what Jonas does if he stays and he excels over the top, but I do like Poggy's chances. Is there another TT stage?
There is, yes.
I'm all in for the TT stage.
Or it could be decided on the last day this year, which is kind of cool.
Then I'm kind of interested on that actually. I do enjoy the TT aspect of it and the sheer force of the guys pulling through there on the TT bikes, and I do like the bikes. But yeah, interested to see what happens.
I have one great stage that I'm looking forward to that I think everybody should tune into. It's next Sunday. It will be stage 15, Ludenveille to Plateau de Belle, or de Bay, and it is 200 kilometers long. It's a mountain stage with almost 5,000 meters of elevation gain. The day before we'll have had 150K with 4,000 meters of elevation. So I think those back to back big climbing days will see something big happen to the GC contenders. And my fingers crossed, Jonas can stick with Poggi and we can see the two of them fight through 14 and 15 this coming week. I think this will be some of the most exciting riding that we see in this tour.
Tune in.
Yeah, agreed. Should be good.
That'll be exciting.
All right, well, I guess with that, the rest day is over. They got to get back to pedaling. No more time for rest.
Boys in motion out.
See ya.